All right, we'll try this again. You guys, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you all for being here. Hopefully you've got either bellies full already or food on your plate to make your bellies full, one or the other, right? So what are you all here to learn? Why did you invest a couple of hours of your morning with us here this morning? And folks on Zoom, put it into the chat. We've got Nancy monitoring the back, so she will let me know if you say something. If you can hear me, just give me a thumbs up or something too on Zoom so we know that you guys can hear us okay. So double your presence, right? Yes, triple, okay. All that can be accomplished. So who has ever put out a video, either sent it by email, published it online or anything? Raise your hand. Okay, that's a good question. So who's ever, let's start. That's a good question, Annette, actually. Who's ever recorded a video? Okay, who's ever sent a video? Okay, good. That was a good distinction. That was a good distinction, thank you. Okay, so do you guys know, I have some statistics that I captured here to share with you. In 2020, 96% of consumers, they increased their online video consumption. 9 out of 10 viewers said that they wanted to see more videos from businesses and brands. As of 2022, an average person is predicted to spend 100 minutes a day consuming video content. That's another story, another conversation as to why they're, but you know, you're in the business of marketing, right? So we're gonna take advantage of folks watching all this video is basically it. And by 2022, online videos will make up more than 82% of consumer internet traffic. And that's 15 times higher than it was in 2017. 72% of people say that they prefer to learn about a product or a service through video. 72%, so that's more than the majority. And 84% of people say that they've been convinced to buy a product or service by watching a brand's video. Same, I'm included in that too. 85% of people would like to see more videos from brands. 78% of people watch videos online each week and 55% watch them daily. Viewers retain 95% of a message that they consume on a video versus 10% when reading it in text. 95 versus, well, that's always different. Yeah. And video is now the #1 form of media that's used in content strategy, far above any infographics or blogs or all those ones that we're used to hearing about before. So the question that comes to my mind is, why didn't everyone's hand go up about video marketing, right? How many of you, and Donna, you kind of answered this, but how many of you have ever watched a video online or through any sort of medium? 100% of you. Yeah. Okay, 100%. How many of you have ever made a buying decision, whether it be a service or product, based on watching a video? Close to the majority.
I look for video.
You look for video. Okay. So you guys aren't the only ones, right? You're not the only ones. This is what your consumers are demanding of you, okay? You are one of them, and you're doing, that quick little survey in this room matches the stats that I just read to you. So you yourselves are consumers in this very same way. And I didn't find the actual number, but what I've learned also is that it's not about age as much as I thought it was about before. You know, we used to think that the younger generation was more into the video and all that, but no, I think we've all grown up in this ADD world at this point, right? Everyone's attention is so much shorter that irrespective of age, folks are wanting video over having to do the work of reading, right? Yes, you know, I think that probably helped thanks to COVID, right? That probably helped. So then the question again is why, right? Why are we not all doing video? And I can take some guesses at it if you guys want, right? It's because I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do it. It's too much work. I don't like the way I look. maybe after I shave, maybe when I've done my hair, maybe I should get some Botox first. Maybe I should go and get weight loss first, go on that diet. Maybe I'll wait till the sun is shining and I have a new outfit. Maybe it's, I don't like the way my voice sounds, right? All those are different reasons. What my friends are gonna make fun of me, what are they gonna say, right? All these things. Has anyone had any of those thoughts, right? And I will tell you, I still have those thoughts. I just really want I still have those thoughts. Has anyone seen any of the videos that I've put out? Okay, so so she said I'm a natural is what she said. But if I could, I'll share a story with you. It was 2013, okay? I'm sitting in this classroom. It's this big room with white boards all around it. And I'm sitting in this room with about 20 strangers that I just met. It's my first mortgage mastermind that I've ever attended down in Dunedin, Florida, okay? Yeah, and I just decided, I was still doing my part-time at Johnson & Johnson. For those of you that don't know, I have a PharmD by education, right? And I used to work at Johnson & Johnson. Decided that I was going to go all in on the mortgage and I wanted to give up that work that I did there. So I signed up for coaching. So I go down to this place, don't know anybody there, and I'm sitting with these, I think, rock stars in the mortgage business, right? I mean, these people are knocking my socks off. I didn't know these things were possible as a mortgage lender because I'd never opened my eyes to it. And the coach says, you all need to be doing video marketing. And I said, are you crazy, right? Who wants to hear what I have to say? Who would ever want to hear what I have to say? My voice cracks when I speak. One eye is smaller than the other eye. I've got all these things. Yeah, you'll notice this next. You'll notice this next time, by the way. I probably should have told you that, but that's true. So all these thoughts, right? And I was just like, no, right? The whole time they're talking, and there's people come up, talk about the success they've had with video marketing. In 2013, it was really new. People weren't doing it yet, and they're like, you have to be cutting edge, you have to do it. Fast forward a year, thousands of dollars in coaching, but I haven't implemented what they've told me yet, right? Because of all these reasons that I just told you, I think, and Annette, what you said, I recorded a video and I was like, I'll think about it. Never published it, right? Never published it for a while. And again, coach is like, you've got to do this. You're really, stop complaining that your business isn't growing and go do this work that I'm telling you to do. So I record a Merry Christmas video, okay? It takes me 100 tries, okay? 100 tries. The video is about 30 seconds long. I still don't like it, but I finally publish it, right? I put it on Facebook or something. And I think I sent it out to my database to say Merry Christmas. And guess what? People didn't laugh. People didn't laugh. I was so shocked. I got thanks messages. I got all sorts of messages about, wow, that was so great, so helpful, or I mean, so nice of you to do that, whatever, all those kinds of comments. And I said, oh, okay. I still don't like the video. And if I showed you that video, you guys would all probably laugh, right? And if I looked at it, I'd probably laugh too. And so I wasn't always a natural, Sylvia, I guess is my point, right? I wasn't always, it did not come. No, I just told you the story of my and then after that first video, I recorded like a Thanksgiving video and I just did a couple of those like occasion type videos, if you will. But I still wasn't doing it regularly yet because it still was so uncomfortable for me. And then at some point I finally, and I think this was 5 or 6 years ago, I want to say, I actually don't remember when I started doing that Monday video that you guys might be used to now. And that was the start of it for me, where I started saying, I'm going to do something and I'm committing to this. And then it was pick a time, pick a day. And I just started doing that Monday video. And again, it was the same thing. As I started doing it, it was like 20 takes before I felt like I was happy with it. And I hated the way I sounded. And I could really, for the life of me, not understand why anybody would watch it, right? I really, really could not and I still don't many times understand why people watch anything that I put out, right? Because I think it's just me talking. Why would anyone want to listen? But what I've discovered along this journey here is that what I think is ordinary is not ordinary to everybody, one. And sometimes people just need to hear a message, and maybe they know the message already, but just hearing it may help them because you get them at a time where they needed to hear that message, even though they may have known that message already. So one positive comment after another helped encourages me. So every time somebody comments, I used to tell people this at the beginning, especially every time somebody sent me a text or an email or something saying, thank you, I needed to hear that, it gave me the motivation to know that what I was doing was worthwhile. And so since then, my motto has been, you know, my passion is about helping people. My passion is to make this world a better place, is to help bring out the best in folks. That's what my life's mission is about. And if I'm able to do that, and if one video that I record can make one person's life just a little bit better, even for that day, that was time well spent, is the way that I look at it. And so when I get that one message, even if it's just one message a week, that motivates me and keeps me going, is what I've realized. And the biggest thing that I will share with you that I'm hoping that you get there faster than I did about was all those reasons why I didn't do it. They were all about me. They were all about me, not about the people that I was looking to serve, right? So if you can just get yourself out of your own way, stop being selfish. Okay, I'm being really harsh here for a reason, but stop being selfish and share what you know with the people that deserve to hear what you have to say, right? I mean, you all have gifts and you all have strengths and you all have a passion for what you do. And you're all very good at what you do. People need to hear that, right? And you all know that there are people out there that are not as good as you, right? You guys know that. There are people there that will take advantage of clients that are not really looking out for their best interest. Unfortunately, but that's just the reality of the world that we live in, right? So would you rather see that the people that you care about fall into those hands because they're the ones that are taking the step and you're not, right? So don't do it for yourself, but do it for the people that deserve to hear from you, that deserve to learn from you, and that deserve to have all that you have to offer. So who's ready to do video?
Well said. Well said.
Who's ready? So who's
I'm
ready?
glad I come in.
We had a meeting in our office and the manager had stated, video's the thing to do. You guys need to start doing it. So whenever I'm in a meeting, they say something, I'm like, okay. So the next day I started every day. I try to do one every single day. Sometimes I miss it or whatever, but I don't care. Like, you know, I have a missing tooth. My hair looks a mess. I don't care. Sometimes I use filters because then, you know, if I don't like the way I look that day. But each time you do it, it's like anything else. The more you do it, the more you are adapted to doing it and it becomes routine. And I've gone from, you know, reaching 2 people to reaching 350 people. So I don't even care if they don't reach out to me. I know they're seeing it. And then you have to be in their, you know, face every day. And then I've gotten at least 3 clients on Facebook in the last 3 months. So
right.
3 clients is great for me.
And how much money did you spend on it? Maybe you boosted the ad, but if you think about.
I had my site set up like with the, you know, with the company for.
So can we call it like maybe 500? Is that like a generous? Okay. 3 clients, $500 spent.
Yeah.
Way cheaper than Zillow ads, you guys. Way cheaper. Okay, so let's talk about that. So are we all in that video is a good idea?
Yeah.
Raise your hands if you want to start taking advantage of this platform. Okay, it's okay. It's okay if your hand's not raised. Don't feel obliged. Don't feel obliged. Thank you. I see Priya, your hand is raised too. Great. So then let's talk about how to do it and how to do it consistently, right? And reach the people that you want to reach. So it starts with a couple of things, right? And again, it does come back to the mindset that you have when you're doing it is important. It's got to be about serving other people. When you make it about yourself, no one's going to watch, right? No one really, really cares about that from that perspective. And that's not going to help you with conversions, right? As far as why you do it too, right? The whys of why you want to do video are to, 1, strengthen your relationships, right? Strengthen your relationships. It gives people a chance to get to know you, whether we already know each other, right? I mean, like Jeff and I have known each other for thousands of years, I think at this point, right? But if you catch a video of me, whether you watch the whole thing or not, by the way, right? Maybe you only catch the 3 seconds as you're scrolling and you don't watch more of it. It gives you a quick insight into 1, Pinky's still around. 2, whatever that quick few seconds that you heard, you know that little bit about me now, right? So it keeps us engaged and strengthens our relationship by showing up on, and this, I'm talking about that for social media, of course. We'll talk about the different places and how you can use it. But so it helps do that. It helps with attracting newer audiences, right? It helps give an opportunity to attract people that you may not have otherwise, or people may share your content, right? Gives people something to share. And so now you've got more people. That makes it easier for Donna to say, hey, call Pinky because here's a video she did, right? And here she'll tell you something about this. So there's a whole ton of applications as to why and how you can use video to your ability. And then which way you want to go with it is going to depend on your goals, okay? So I may choose to use video differently than Donna uses it and Jeff uses it and Stephanie uses it, because we may have different things that we're trying to accomplish, right? You know, someone that's newer in their business, they're just trying to get out there and get brand awareness possibly, right? Someone who's been around may have a different and just be about brand recognition, right? So there's different reasons and different things that we're maybe looking to accomplish. And so the first thing I would say is, at the end of the day, this is about your brand and your business. You should have a business plan in place, right? You should know who your target ideal client is. You should know who you're looking to serve. So that's the first step of it. And then we should know what we're looking like. Are we looking for more clients? Are we looking for more conversion? Or where is it that we're looking to grow our business and how? Once you've identified that, then we can go on and say, how does video, what part of video, how are we going to use video to help us with that strategy? It can help at every part of the funnel, right? It can absolutely work at every part of the funnel. And I can share with you some of the ways that I use it, but you're going to come up with your own creative ways to use it too, because they're going to be different based on what your needs are and what you want to do with it as well. So there's a 1,000 ways to skin this cat is what I'm going to start. And really, it comes down to having that focus. And no matter if you do video or you don't do video, by the way, make sure you've got that plan. You've got that ideal client image of yours so that you know whatever messaging you are using, it's always in line with what you want from that perspective, right? So just as a non-video comment. So then let's talk about a few different things. We'll talk about content, how to come up with content. We'll talk about the platforms, and we'll talk about some equipment, okay? So, and then the last part of it will be developing the consistency. Anything else you want me to cover when it comes to video, or does that cover if those of you that have questions, and if those of you that have been doing it, you have other questions, tell me and we can address them.
One of the things that kind of stopped me from putting my video out there was because I thought it wasn't polished. Mm-hmm. But I'm hearing different things like, oh, well, if it's not as polished, people can relate better to you. And so what's your take on that? Do you agree with that? Or
those of you that have seen my videos know that I'm not polished at all when it comes to my video. I just recently hired someone to edit my videos after 5 years of doing this. So I was just putting them out there. You get me the way that I am. It's not polished. But I found, you know what? I think that what I did find, it was relatability. People weren't expecting anything of me because it wasn't polished, if that makes any sense, right? When it's polished, all of a sudden people have expectations. And I'm not, actually, as a matter of fact, I will share this with you. A good friend of mine, as I said, I've been doing videos at least for 6 years or so. Before it was always like, oh, it's nice that you put out this, inspirational content, blah, blah, right? Great. And I started now getting an editor, and she commented and saying, hey, your videos look great. I like what you're doing with them, but I just wanted to let you know that at the end, blah, 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 right? So now all of a sudden she wanted to critique it, and she didn't ever want to critique it when I just did them raw. So now all of a sudden people expect a certain level from me because they're polished. And so they have these greater expectations of what that video is going to be for some reason. So it's actually an interesting dynamic, right? That I was told this long ago in that coaching group that I was in. People told me that they're like, don't worry about polishing it, because all of a sudden people, and I'm finding that to be true, is now I have more people telling me how it should be, because now they think that, it's polished. So I should have certain expectations of what things are like. So I don't think it has to be polished. I did not polish them until just recently.
I think that once you start doing them, you're going to be nervous and you're going to feel awkward or whatever. But the more you do them, the more you get the confidence of feeling polished. Yeah. Even if you're not, because people relate to your personality. They hire you, they don't hire your agency. So when they see you, they see the real you, and they can relate better to you. They connect better to you.
I agree. That's one of the things that I have loved about video, is that it really gives people a chance to get to know me before they ever come in contact with me. So I know I'm not the best fit for every single individual out there, right? I know that there's people that don't like the way that I do this, this, or that. But anytime someone refers me, and you all know this, and we all do this, right? You get a referral to somebody, what do you instantly do? You Google that person, right? Or that company or whatever it is. I think most of us do that, even if it's a strong referral, because you just want to look them up. And my videos come up. So people have a chance to watch a couple of videos, and then they know whether they like me or not. And if you don't like me, just don't ever call me. It works out. Like, we're not going to waste our time, right? I have a better chance of engaging with people that like me now because they've already gotten a chance to get a little bit about me. So I love that it helps weed out, quite frankly, right? So I really, really love that aspect of it, because most people will say, oh, I saw a video of yours. By the time they call me, they've actually probably seen a video of mine. Even if they, again, just watched it for a few seconds, they got to know enough about me to decide, because everyone decides in the first few seconds, right, whether they like you or not. So they've already had those few seconds with me and decided that they wanted to continue to talk to me. So that really, I love that part of it. I love that part of it, because it just saves my time, right? So it saves, it helps me focus on the people that really want to engage with us. So I love that part of it a lot. So then let's talk about the different, let's start with, okay. The first thing we'll talk about, I already talked about brand. Okay, the ways that you can use video, okay? We'll start with the basics. Ways you can use video are a text message, right? You can absolutely, you just met somebody at an open house. You just had a listing appointment. You just met a buyer. You just met somebody in a coffee shop who said, maybe I'm interested, whatever it may be, right? But there's somebody that you think is a prospect for you. So what if you took your cell phone as you're walking out of that office or when you got in the car and said, hey, Tom, it was really a great pleasure to meet you. I'm so happy. Look forward to staying in touch with you. Or call me, whatever. Maybe that wasn't a great close, but whatever, right? You get the concept. Especially at open houses, because you know very well that they're moving on to another open house and there's another agent there waiting to capture that client, right? You are not the only one. And you know very well that a few of those agents are going to call them the next day. And they're not going to remember which one of you they are, right? Because they went to 10 different open houses, met 10 different agents who are all vying for their business. So I think that's a place where you can 100%, it doesn't have to be that you use video in mass public, right? I think that's the other thing people think. It doesn't have to always necessarily, like if you're not feeling super excited about or confident, like start with this. It's simple. Start by sending a happy birthday video to your clients on their birthdays. You know, it could just be a private, and these are people that you know already. So you have a comfort level with you. So they're not going to say, oh my gosh, Aaliyah, you know, you look so silly, right? They know you, they've spent time with you. They've already engaged with you. So it's not like you're a stranger to them. So I think that's a great, and then you can use the same thing. You can do it either by text message, as a direct message on Instagram, Facebook, whatever. So you can also use it that way. So those are great, great ways that you can use the video as a video text. And even if you use it, by the way, here's something that you can also do, which you guys all know that I do a video when you put an offer in on a property, and we call the listing agent, right? So I send a video to them. You can, if you're in a multiple bid situation, send a video to that listing agent, right? Instead of, because you know that if there's 20 offers on that property, they're oftentimes not accepting a phone call on it, right? Or they're not picking up their phone. You're trying to call them, you're trying to sell them your deal versus everything else, but they're just not taking your phone call. And you sent them a text, but again, they've got 20 texts. How are you helping your buyer win and stand out there? You send them a video text.
How's that? Do you attach it as a video or is it embedded?
If you're doing it as a text, you can usually just send it right as a text message, like as an SMS or MMS, I guess is what's called.
What do you say?
What do you say?
Yeah, what's the content of it?
So let's say it's a listing. Is that what you're talking about? If it's that.
Right. So then it's the offer.
Yeah.
Right. And so what is the most effective communication?
and you guys can maybe answer this better, but I would think why my offer is, you know, like if I'm the listing agent, I want to know why I should take your client's offer, Devanshu, right? So it's, hey, this is Devanshu. I just put in an offer for Mr. Smith, and he's, here are the highlights of why I think your seller would benefit from this offer, and whatever they are, right? It's, we're going X over F, or we're waiving the appraisal, we're waiving contingency. I'm going to give you my firstborn, right? And please accept my offer.
Well, we can figure that part out, but I guess the question I'm asking is it a hyperlink they have to click on, or?
So you can just,
I did it one time ever, because I got an offer from a listing, from a buyer's agent once. So I was like, oh, that's weird, you know, but that was interesting. So like, I think it was like 3 months later, I'm like, you know, let me try that. Or whatever.
Yeah.
But,
and listen, it can't hurt, right? I'm not promising you're going to win the deal because of it. We don't know. My whole strategy on winning deals is we just throw as much at it as we can and hope, because one of those things will stick, right? And so yeah. So Tom, you can just literally send it from as like a text message, as a video that you're, just like you share a picture, you can share a video. So there is a little between Android, Apple, there is some, it's a little funky there. So you do have to, that would be the only thing. So then you can put it on, I use BombBomb personally. There is a fee to BombBomb, BombBomb, B-O-M-B, B-O-M-B, okay? I think their prices have come down. I don't remember what it is. I think it's like 40 or something a month. And you should check with your companies. If you work with, you know, like I think like Keller Williams has a deal with BombBomb, for example. So, so some of these, you know, national brands, they have deals with companies like BombBomb. So you should check before you just buy it on your own.
I just did it on my phone and sent it to my email and then attached it in the email. Like it was just like, so
you can send it as an email. Yeah. And this is where I say, don't overthink it, right? Yeah. This is where I say, just try to send it. If it goes, it goes. If not, there's also this site called iJot, E-Y-E-J-O-T. They let you do free. You don't have to pay for it. And it's limited time. You can't go for more than a minute, I think, on it. But I mean, you don't want to go for more a minute anyway, because they're going to tune you out anyway. So, yeah.
I have an Android phone, and there's different ways that you can just do it. Just like you said, if you open up, let's say if you're going to text, you see a camera next to where you're going to text box, you just hit that and you can record. The only thing with that is that you have to know the limit. Sometimes
you can't go too long.
Sometimes it's a minute. If you do it more than the limit, then you just trim it down to what you really want the message to be. Or you could just do a video and then you can attach it to that particular text message or email if you want. So it's very simple. It's almost like what you're like when you're doing an attachment for an email. It's the same way that you would do it for text for an Android phone.
Yeah. Simple. Did you have a question? Oh, I thought you did. Okay.
I was going to say you got to the most important point that the buyers can pre-qualify.
There you go. Thank you. So then the other part is emails in general, right? That's like a good segue. So there's text messages, and then I'll lump text messages in with social media, direct messages, private messages, all that. And then there's email. You could also do it that way, Tom. That might be easier, by the way.
Email? Yeah,
no, if you're friends with them on Facebook, or right, if you're worried about the text messaging part of it, just find them on Facebook and then send them a private message, because you can do it that way too. And it's super easy because you literally just hit the record button on there. Yeah. And then emails. Emails are a great way to do it. Also, for the reasons we said, but I have templates built out. And again, if you've done business with me, you've probably seen the same video over and over again. You know that I have that same videos that go out. And it's because we have templates built out. And I mean, Nancy sends out my video, right? So I don't even send them out half the times. So it helps me be the person that they see, which is super helpful for like Enya, someone like you, Jeff, you know, because you guys have, if you have people under you as teams, you can get your face out to them. Remember that they know that, okay, I'm the broker, I'm the manager, right? And they'll be able to have you as the face, if you will, and feel like you're interacting with them, even though somebody else on your team may be managing it. And I use BombBomb for that personally. I did used to use Vimeo. That's another platform. It's a little bit less expensive, but I do think BombBomb is better. I did that initially. And then I upgraded to BombBomb. So Vimeo, Vimeo, that's another platform that you can use. And I think they have a little bit of free time, and then you could pay for the premium if you end up using it more. So you could try that one as well. So those are some, so the templates are like life-saving. You guys all probably have seen my one that with the intro, right? Where I send out when it's like, hey, I'm Pinky. When you're introducing me, right? It says, I want to introduce you to Pinky's team, and I've given you all a video that you can include to your clients. So not only you guys are sending them out for me too, actually, right? Many of you are using that template. So you're sending out my video as well. And so now, even though I've never talked to this client, before they actually talk to me, they know who I am. They know how to start the process, right? So that video says, here's how you start the process. I'm excited to work with you. Here's how you start the process. Look forward to serving you, blah, 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 right? So it's a message like that. That's what I do in that one. Yep, iJot, EYE. Yep, those are at Cardwell. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Nancy. So those are some different things that you should consider. So especially if you have, I'm a fan of templates in general. So if you guys aren't using email templates, whether it has videos or not, it's an amazing way to multiply yourself, right? Because you're not spending as much time rewriting the same message over and over again. So whether you're using Gmail, Outlook, whatever you're using, all of those have template features in it. And so you can literally just save the same message. Congratulations, your offer was accepted. Here are the next steps. You probably send that same message to everybody, right? You need to schedule your appraisal. Here are the things. You have to schedule your inspection. Here's my recommendations, whatever you guys are doing on a regular basis, right? Or we have to come for the pictures on the listing, right? And here's what we need to do to prep the house. Like you probably have that all. So what you can do is have your templates for that. And if you wanted to include a video, you can include a video along with it as well. Because again, what I'm finding is that people don't want to read messages anymore, right? Do you guys find that you don't want to? Because I find sometimes I get caught up in it too. I was like, well, that's a long email. Like when I say, I was like, oh. And yeah, and as a writer of a long email, that's really wrong. So I've learned that I need to shorten my emails because I don't even want to read my own emails sometimes. So I've learned to either bullet or highlight or something because it's just like, here's what's important, right? And that's why I do more of the video because it's people find it easier. The other thing is when you include a video along with the text, I think that's really powerful because you may have the people who want to read who don't want to watch a video, right? Every now and then and if you do both, you're capturing the different types of people in one medium. So you're not ruling out one, but you're not ruling out the other, right? So we're not going to know how everyone wants to communicate. I gave you the stats. A lot of people want video, definitely. So you can't go wrong with that. But if you personally prefer it, then do both, right? Or if you feel like you're not sure your audience, do both. Have a video and then have the text underneath it. So that's a really, really powerful way to do it. And again, if you just want to get more, like even if you don't want more deals, but you just want more time to go and sit on the beach these days, right? Like this is what you can do is just get your templates in order. And every time you have a deal, you'll be moving through so much faster because you won't have to write that same message over and over again. Obviously on your websites, that's a great place for video. If you don't have an all about me or something like that, meet the team, all those are great things. Or here's how you get started. Like all of those are great things to put on your website. Or, as recruiting messages for those of you that are in that element, right? So there's different things that you can use that for, or, Nikki, donation stuff, right? You got videos about that. You can do all of it. Like there's all the things that are of your interest. You can put on your websites. Obviously there's YouTube, right? So you can create content that goes on there, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. And then of course, social media is the other place where you can use that. So then let's talk a little bit about tools, right? And ideas. I brought a few things in here to show you. I have a couple of different tripods. I have a tabletop one. So this is like if I'm just sitting at my desk and I need to record something or whatever, I'll just literally put it on the table or wherever I am. And it's just tabletop, super easy, super portable. I've got the bigger tripod. You guys have all seen this one, right? And this expands size-wise and everything. This one I like because it has a little carrying bag personally. So it makes it easier when I want to take it places. But I have one set up just in my office, right? This is my travel one and I have one there. But like $25 on Amazon, you guys, this is not expensive equipment. It's like super inexpensive. I think you do have to get the cell phone adapter if you're using that. You can absolutely just do it with your cell phone, by the way. You don't need a fancy camera to get started, especially these cameras on the cell phones are incredible, right? And they just keep getting, like we thought they were great and they just keep getting better and better. There's microphones. This is a wired mic, right? So you literally just plug it into your phone and it just, if you're outside, inside, whatever, as you can see, this one I've had for years, so it's pretty beat up at this point. And then I got myself upgraded to a, just that way. This is a wireless mic. So it's just one of those like the ones like that. So I've got this now that I upgraded to recently. And then this is one of those remote control start things, right? So you can start it, and if you put it on the tripod, you can just start it when you want and end it when you want. I do have trouble with this, just FYI. Personally, I've gotten like 3 of them and I just edited at this point. And then this is what I use to record everything. So this is an Android. Yeah. I am switching to an Apple only. Oh, I know. I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. But my daughter's going off to college and I want her to FaceTime me. So that's the only reason. But not easily. I've tried. It's not as easy. I want it to be super easy for her to call me and for me to be able to answer the phone and for her to stay in touch with me as much as she possibly can. So this is all mommy not being able to let go. I have WhatsApp. I know. They just don't like it though.
Just come over to Apple.
I know. The decision's made, you guys. I know. I'm going to miss my Android, but I'm going to try it. I love all you Android fans, by the way. I love it. Usually I'm not a... I know.
If you just call, there's now they have something on your call where you can just switch it to a video.
Yeah.
But not Apple to Android.
Yes, I do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to have to take a look at that. Maybe that might have, I need to make it easy. Okay. Off topic. But yes, you can record on either. You can record on either Apple or Android, whichever one. I mean, they both have great phones. And mine, this one is a 10, by the way. So it's like really old at this point. It's like 3 years old.
But you're still at 14 megapixels.
That's my point. And I think that's my point is that, a 3-year-old phone still does a really good job. So imagine what the new ones are going to do. So that's the technology that I use, right? And then I already told you about BombBomb. I already told you about iJot. I told you about Vimeo, Vimeo. And Nancy, if you want to put that into the chat in case someone, I don't know that one's there already, Vimeo. So there's tons of stuff. Oh, there's also a, and it depends on how you like it. If you like to have a script written out, there is a app. There's teleprompter apps on your phones that you can get. Some are free, some you have to pay for. BigView, B-I-G-V-U is a teleprompter app that you can use. B-I-G-V-U. And that one lets you then be able to, like, you're looking at your phone and it'll, if you've written out a script, if that's the way you like to do it, then you can have that, right? And that's perfect. And then content, right? So then content is the other question. The applications I gave you were more about like one-to-one messages, right? And things like that. But then there's the mass messages and stuff and the different platforms. YouTube is really an amazing place to be, I think, if you can be on YouTube. YouTube takes a lot of effort. It really does, I think, personally. So I'm not as much on YouTube. So there's YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, right? There's all those different, LinkedIn, Twitter, there's all those different platforms. So you've got to pick which one really you want to focus on. And they all have slightly different ways that you want to be on them too, because they require a slightly different type of format, message, and stuff like that. So personally, I've chosen to go all in on Instagram right now. The reason I chose that is because my ideal client is typically a first-time home buyer or a younger home buyer, okay? And I know that, and partly because we like educating and we like, helping those folks, but also because millennial, if you guys have looked at any population data, millennials, like they're just growing in numbers and they like to buy houses. So they're my ideal target, right? I mean, it's perfect. So, and they tend to be pretty savvy and tech. And so they are on Instagram a lot. Okay. So that's a place where they are. So that's why I've chosen that. Now you can choose whatever you want to choose, but that's why I've chosen to focus my energy for that reason. But YouTube is a great place to focus your energy. What I like better about YouTube versus any social media platform is that people go to YouTube looking for something, right? So if someone comes and looks for mortgage, blah, 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 and I come up, then they're looking for that information. What I don't like about Instagram is that I'm interrupting their leisure time, right? They want to look at babies and dogs and cats and funny memes and stuff like that. And then here comes this mortgage thing, right? So, so I have to, so, you know, that's the challenge with the social media, is that you are interrupting their leisure activity when you pop in with something educational, right?
I think it's important that each different social media has a different vibe to it, right? So
exactly,
that's the important point. Like, you don't, like, LinkedIn is more business oriented, so you can do a more professional video on there where it fits in with the genre, right? But then Snapchat might be a little bit more casual and that kind of stuff. So you have to kind of fit the audience.
You do. And so the challenge is that they all do have those different personalities. Personally, I've chosen to go all in on one because I can't keep up with all of them at the same time. You know, I'm not a video content producer all day long, right? So it's just not what I can do. So so I had to prioritize, and so I prioritized Instagram. And what I did do is I do take that Instagram content, I do put it on Facebook, I do put it on LinkedIn, because it's all I have, right? So I'd rather do that and put it out there than not do it, just because it's giving me a presence there. So it's not my ideal, it's not the ideal content for LinkedIn, it's not the ideal. And so I get more engagement on Instagram than I do in any others, but at least it's there. So people that find me there. So that's how I've approached it. Obviously, if I had more time, I'd do a little bit different for all of them. But the reality is, you know, it's hard enough to make this content, quite frankly, right?
I couldn't picture you with the bunny ears Snapchat filter.
No, you don't see that? Yeah, I don't see that. Maybe I'll do it once just to throw you off. And you know, that's actually another good point, Jeff, is that be you, right?
Yeah.
I mean, some people are so, like, a lot of the Instagram and Snapchat and all those, you know, a lot of those and TikToks are about music, and they're about like being silly and being right. And it's not necessarily who I am, right? So I can't pretend to be that if that's not who I am. Like, some people see a song or something and they automatically think of a correlation to this, or they have an idea and they automatically think of a song that goes with it. That's not me. I just can't. Yeah. So if I tried to be that and it wasn't me, people would see through it. Exactly. So I use basic music, right? Unless I actually have, every now and then I've had an idea, but they're far and few in between. So, but some people are really good at that, and they should do that if they're good at it, right? That's the key, is like, be you. Don't try to do what I do. Don't try to do what Jeff does or Donna does. Like, be you and authentically you, because people will see through it if you're not being you. And that's the fun part of it, is that you do get to be you, and you get to find the people that like you for who you are when you're you. If you're trying to be something else, then you're going to get people, and you're going to find that you don't necessarily love working with them, because you've attracted a crowd that isn't attracted to the real you. So I think that's the other cool part about being you, right? And the reason I will tell you that I did the inspirational videos that I do, the Monday videos, for so many years, is because that came easy to me, and that was natural for me. That wasn't work for me. That's why I chose that. So that's the reason that I started with that, was because that's, you all know me, I'm about positivity, I'm about high energy, I'm about good things in the world, right? So that's just what I'm about. So that was easy for me to talk about. I read all the time. I listen to podcasts all the time. That's what I do. So it was easy for me to do that content. It wasn't work for me. And so that's why I did that content to start. And then, so that was like how I got into it, because I picked something that just came easy for me. And so when you think about where to find content, that's what you want to look to think about what kind of message you want to deliver. And one thing I did learn a little bit later is that I wasn't doing enough mortgage content, right? Because that was the content that I did mostly. So now you will see that I'm doing more mortgage content, because what I was finding is that people didn't know what I did. They knew that I was a positive person, but they didn't necessarily know what I did, because I never talked about mortgages. So don't make that mistake. So I'm telling you, as I said, learn from my mistakes. The reason I share all my things is so that you can get further faster, right? And you don't make the mistakes that I made.
Do you review each thing before you release it, or do you just wing it?
So I was just winging it, to be honest with you. I still don't like the way that I sound on the videos. I still don't understand, I don't understand why I say what I say on the videos sometimes, right? And why people listen to them. So I have a hard time. If I preview them, then I won't publish them many times, to be honest. So I was just putting them out there and not watching them sometimes. But now that I've got the editing thing, I have to watch them. So, because I want to make sure that it's been edited right and all that. So now I'm watching them. But I wasn't necessarily before. because I could hear when it came out well and it didn't come out well. So as I was recording it, I knew if it was sounding good or not. Like if it was the way that I would have been speaking to you right now, and that's the way that I recorded it, then I was good with it. That was my gauge.
Going back to content, I read somewhere, because I was of the opinion that it would be all business. It's really, you know, that can be kind of like
right.
A lot to somebody. So I think I heard that it was supposed to be like every 2, maybe that's light and social, and then maybe a business.
I agree. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what folks will recommend is to balance it where it's a 2-to-1 of personal. People do business with people they know, like, and trust, right? So you got to give them a chance to know and like you, to trust you. And if all you talk about is business, it becomes hard to do that. Now, it doesn't mean that your videos can't be all real estate focused though. You can have non-video content that's more personal, right? So it doesn't mean that all your video can be all business, but then your non-video content is the personal stuff. Yeah. So the recommendation from that is to have different pillars that you want to focus on, right? So what are your pillars that you want to focus on and that you want people to know you for? Like that goes back to knowing what your brand is about. Your passions. So like my brand is about though, like, you know, who I am and so they're the same thing for me. I don't distinguish between the two because again, it makes it easy to be me right then. And it gets easy for people to attract what I like, right? And who for me to have conversations with you all, right? You're all in this room because there was something that we have in common, right? And so it makes it easy then for us to have conversation and dialogue. If we had nothing in common, it would be a lot harder to do business together. So yeah, my passions, right? So you guys will see that my passions are about education, right? That's why I do the educational content. My passions are about mortgage, obviously. My passions are my family. So you'll see a lot of family stuff on there. You'll see that my passion is about giving back to the community. So you'll see a lot about that. I've got, you know, a passion for also health and fitness, right? So you'll probably see a lot of stuff about that. So if you think about all my content that I've ever put out, it probably fits into one of those categories.
When you come from a place of contribution, people are always going to listen to it.
That's it.
Know your demographics and the marketplace.
Yeah, I agree with you. And, you know, you could be what you want to be, right? I was just I listened to this Modern Real Estate Summit. I don't know if some of you listened on to it, right? There was this one guy, I was fascinated by him and I was really inspired by him. He's the tattooed realtor. I don't know where he is. I forgot what part of the country, but his whole brand is that he's literally, you know, tattoos everywhere and he wears it proud. And that's what he markets. He's like, I'm the tattooed realtor. And so he's attracting that and he's doing phenomenal according to the numbers that he shared, right? So he was him. And he's like, I don't care if you don't like tattoos. I don't care if you don't like that. I don't care. But there's this whole audience of people that do, and that's my market. And then my husband was telling me this morning he's a financial planner, about how he was just talked to someone or heard an interview of someone who's focused only on strip dancers as their business. And yeah, and I was funny. He was telling just this morning, he was telling, and so, but you know, that was a little weird one because it's not like, he said, they're not a strip dancer themselves, but this is but that's the market that they wanted to be in. So you can be in whatever contribution for them is about that audience, right? Is why I bring that up, Nikki, is that contribution is to them in that audience, because that's what his contribution is to the tattoo world, and like, hey, you can wear your tattoo proud and still be whatever. Like that's his message, part of what he's delivering. Like you don't need to not be you, is what these folks are delivering, right? So the cool thing about social media is that you can reach so many at one time, and you can find your people, your tribe, people that like what you like, and then you contribute because you're contributing you authentically. So I think that's a really, really amazing part about it. And then so content, right? When we talked about that again, it comes from a place of contribution. The things that you want to contribute, again, there's all your books, your learnings, your webinars, all those are things. And then just questions that you get asked are a great form of content, right? So just think about common questions that you get asked. I have a little folder that I started creating of like clients that ask me questions, and I just drag it into that, right? And when I go to sit down and make content, I look at those questions and say, okay, is there a video I want to create out of this content? And so I don't do it like in the moment, right? So whatever form of way that you like to keep it, if you want to keep a note on your phone, if you want to, you know, as I said, I drag it into a folder if it was on an email, whatever works for you. If you have a spreadsheet, whatever notebook, whatever it works for you, but just do that and keep your commonly asked questions, and you can just do content on that way. And then you can check what's trending, right? So if you have a hashtag that you like, for example, if you know that if you wanted to do real estate, you can just literally Google that and see what else is coming up and what are people talking about. Go through, if you decide you want to be on Facebook, then go through and type in what you would be searching for, what your clients are searching for, and see what comes up. Like you don't have to reinvent the wheel. So, you know, and most people are fine, by the way, right, with it.
So when you do that, when you read someone else's content, do you give them credit or do you just put your own words?
It depends how original it is, I would say. If like, so for example, a video that I just did was 3 ways to improve your credit score. I just recorded that recently. I got the idea because I saw somebody else do it. But I didn't give them credit because it's my content. They just gave me the idea to do that video, if that makes sense, right? So I didn't say, you know, thanks to Tom for giving me, because it wasn't your content that I used anymore. So it was my own content, but the idea of doing that topic came to me because you did that. But I do, if I have, you know, you guys all probably have friends that you follow or people that you follow in the real estate world, right? Or so I will, if I'm in mastermind groups, you know, with lenders like across the country, and so some of them I follow a lot of them. So if I like a content, I will message them and I will say, this is awesome. Do you mind if I do the same thing? And then I don't need to give them credit for it because I told them I'm taking their content and they're okay. They're not asking me for credit for it. It wouldn't benefit them if I did or not. Again, it's the idea that I'm taking. Typically, I'm not actually taking their content. I'm getting the idea from, at least personally, that's what I'm doing. But if I'm quoting a book, if I'm getting something from a webinar, like if I was at a webinar that Jeff did and I heard, so then I would say, Jeff, I learned this from Jeff, then I would do that. Yeah. If it was from a book, I credit the book or whatever. But, you know, it depends on what the content is, I think. Other ideas, if you go to Pinterest, if you could just search things, right? Those are all different places where you can find things. And then you can do, again, you can mix it with real estate, or if you wanted to do some not sort of real estate things, it could be home hacks, right? It could be like things on how to keep your home well, funny little tips, how to save money, like whatever is important to you and that you're into. Those are the things that you can talk about and put into that content. And then, as I said, there's all the different platforms. I can give you some more things on that if you want, but that's the general gist of it. Tell me what other questions you guys have, if any.
I had a question. Is something about before you were saying about doing like 2 personal videos against 1 business? Yeah. I know some people, some friends that are in the real estate or adjacent businesses, and most of their content has a business end, but it's Jack Sparrow challenge running around, but they throw in something just about real estate or mortgages. So you're still connecting it to remind people. Like you said, you did videos, but people didn't know what you did.
Yeah.
But you're doing it in a funny way where you're not making them think or read stats or report. So it doesn't, you can make more videos, I think, business connected, but be fun, be silly. Yeah. And then there's someone who sits there and they'll just be like, when your client calls you and says they just bought a boat to celebrate their pending close. Yeah. Okay, very funny, but connects that you're in the business. It doesn't have to be a deep dive.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys, Claudia in the back, she's quiet, but she's been putting out some really good video content on Instagram too. So, and it's kind of along that line, right? Where it's like video, I'm in real estate, but sometimes it's educational. Sometimes it's something funny like that.
Sometimes like I take the trending audios, they're pretty goofy, but I always just tie it back to something in real estate. But then I also have I do like a little segment on Wednesdays, like what did it sell for Wednesday? And I show like the list price, the sales price, and the estimate. And like in the background of the video, I'll just have like a screen recording of me like flipping through the photos so they get the general idea of what they're looking at. And it's been pretty cool. Like I haven't gotten a crazy amount of business from it. And then one trick I do is like I try to sit down and just batch everything at one time, and then that way like every morning I'll just go in and post it. So it avoids like the whole thing of, well, my hair doesn't look good today, so I can't post anything today. But it's been cool because like I've gone to a few events lately where a couple like people from high school saw me and they're like, oh my God, Claudia, can I get your autograph? And I was like, that's great, man. I love to hear that. Like, thank you so much. So it's getting out there. I just, I don't have a crazy amount of business from it, but But I want to start implementing more things in like the drip campaigns and just procedural stuff just to make my life a little easier.
I bet it's having more of an effect than you even think it is.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I know I gotta do it, so I'm just waiting for it because it's like the postcards, right? You have to do it for 6 months before you see anything. So I'm just gonna keep going. Hopefully it goes the way I want it to. I don't know. But you know, it doesn't like I used to do the YouTube videos where it's like it should be around 10 minutes long. And the production quality for the YouTube videos was a lot more.
Yeah, there's a higher standard.
It's more tedious. You know, I had to like write out a script ahead of time. I had the teleprompter, so we just go like right over my camera when I was recording on the phone. And you know, I'd send it out to get edited because that is very time consuming and there's a big learning curve with it. So I did one video myself and I was like, yeah, that's good. So I sent it out to get edited and you know, I would put the video into like a weekly email newsletter and things like that. So people, you know, it was getting me out there and I actually Darielle found me. You know, searching me on YouTube and she said, you know, after watching a few of my videos, she said, I wanted to work with you. And so it works. I just, you know, the production quality and the time that it takes to get through the YouTube stuff is what prevented me from like continuing with it. The short form content is a lot easier to make. There's less production quality and most of the time, you know, you can just go on the trending audios or things that, you know, and just kind of figure out a way to tie it back to real estate. I also like, and I get in trouble for this a little bit with my parents. I make fun of like just ridiculous client situations. And my mom's like, you should make fun of your clients. Some of them want to work with you. Ridiculous people. You know, like I had one guy, you know, he wasn't pre-approved when I showed him the house. And like when we were at the house, he's telling me, he's like, well, I don't show much income on the books because I've been hiding my income from child support payments. And so I did like a video about that because I think this is ridiculous. Like, why would you tell me, a woman, that? Like, I'm going to have sympathy for you. So, you know, there's a lot of stuff you can do with it. And, you know, I try to keep it light, try to keep it funny. And that's why I make those videos. But, you know, there's always the flip side of things.
Can you share your site just so we can just...
yeah, I'm everywhere. Move with Muniz, my last name.
Move with Muniz.
N-I-Z.
Yeah. Thank you. You put into the chat, Nancy, for those. Yeah, perfect. And I think, you know, if you want to support each other in the endeavor too, right? That's nice too. So if you see one of Claudia's, give her a like, give her something to help her, you know, so if you're doing stuff, she'll probably back and do, like, I think we can help support each other in that way as well. To help just.
And then as far as like making sure it goes everywhere, I just recently, like there's a couple other websites that do it, but I signed up for Hello Whoopee, which is like $150 for the year. And it allows you to like to schedule reminders and also schedule content to be posted across Pinterest, Instagram.
Yeah.
I don't know that it does Snapchat. It does Google My Business, Facebook. It does a whole bunch. So
yeah, and there's a few sites like that, right? There's that one, Buffer, Hootsuite. There's all those.
But that one I think was the cheapest, and it also TikTok was on there too. What was it called? Hello Whoopee. WOOFY,
right?
Yeah. It's like a little like picture of this cartoon guy with his dog.
Yeah, we're gonna put into the chat for you guys online. Yeah.
What were some of the ones that you said?
Buffer, Hootsuite, but I you know, that one it sounds like it's more cost effective, but yeah, there's different ones out there.
I mean, they have different packages. Yeah. Where you want to post. And if I wanted to get on Google My Business too, which you know would give you some more organic stuff as well when people search you in Google. Yeah.
Which is a really smart idea.
Well, yeah. And they have cheaper packages too. I guess that's the one I picked.
So you put it on the website and then you will connect to all the.
Yeah, it connects to all your social accounts. The only thing is like for Instagram, it doesn't post to Instagram. Like you can upload whatever video or picture you want to put on Instagram, and then it'll send a text reminder to your phone with the content already copied and pasted. All you have to do is hit post. But so it won't automatically do that, but everything else it just goes out automatically.
Yeah, I don't know any sites that will let you do a reel outside, like you have to go to Instagram to do it. But that's helpful if it sends it to you at least, then you don't have to.
Yeah. As long as I upload it ahead of time,
Yeah, and then you can save drafts too. I mean, when I do the same thing that you do, Claudia, I batch content. So I'll do a few in a row to make it easier so that I just bang them all out and then I have them available to post. Yeah, it is so much easier. And Instagram doesn't let you put the reels out ahead. So I just save them as drafts. So then I just have to go in and publish it that day. So it's all set up. And then there's Facebook has that whole Meta suite now. They've got the Facebook business, which does Facebook and Instagram at the same time too. So you can use that together as well. Again, but I think if you're doing a reel, I've switched from videos to reels on Instagram because they got more views basically. So that would be, you just can't do that through the Meta Suite platform. So if you guys have more questions, okay, I'm happy to answer. If you want to do a one-on-one, we can talk about it. I'm happy to, just hop on and do a quick strategy call with you if you're like, I want to do this, but I still, because each of you are going to have your own little nuances about like why either you don't want to or what your concerns are or whatever the case may be, right? Or so I'm happy to hop on and help you. I do think it's going to be advantageous to your business. I think you're leaving money on the table if you don't do it, is the short of it, right? And look, at the end of the day, there's going to be realtors who do video and there's going to be realtors who don't, right? And you know that the ones that do, they're not doing it because they're doing it because they know that that's what their consumers want. And so if you're okay with your clients going to those realtors, then don't do video content. And if you want to leave money on the table, don't do video content. But if you want if you want to give away money, knock yourself out. Yeah, you don't care about growing your business, it's all good. But I say that because it really is leaving money on the table, you guys. It's really not as hard as you think it is. It's actually not. I trust you. You can have to get over that little hurdle. You have to get over the and please use the reasons I shared all my stories is because I wanted you to know that it's possible. It's even for someone who doesn't like to do it, who hates the sound of their own voice, who tries to avoid cameras as much as possible. That was me. It's not me anymore, but that was me before. And even now on personal stuff, my husband tell you, I try to get out of every single picture possible. And I try to get out of every video if I don't need to be on it. So I still don't like it for that reason, but I do understand that it's good for helping other people. And that's what I'm about. And so that's what you guys are about. And I know that you're about helping other people. And this is just a way to help people that want you to find you. So don't leave money on the table, you guys. And seriously, Nancy can help get a schedule for a one-on-one if you want to talk about a specific strategy. And I'm happy to help you. I really, really think it's going to be good for you guys. So I'm happy to help you make it work. Yeah. And that's it. And then, let me tell you something unrelated. Any questions on that? What's that? Yeah, you know what? That would be great. Send me. Once you do it, tag me, send it to me, whatever. Or if you want an opinion on it, yes, absolutely, 100%. Send it to me, and I'm happy to help. Yeah, absolutely. That would be fantastic. Unrelated on the mortgage side, I wanted to just share something with you guys. How many of you are seeing the market shift? Like a little bit? Okay. Okay. So I won't go into all the details because I know we're kind of like past the time that I told you or about coming up on time. But if you have a listing and you feel like you're about to take a price reduction, call me before you do. Okay. Or you guys know about this, Aaliyah. We talked about it. Yeah. But do not take a price reduction. Or if you feel like you need to, you're worried about it not selling before you list it, call me. We've got a strategy. It's a seller buy down strategy that will help avoid having to take a price reduction. Okay. We might do, maybe I'll do a little webinar on it and I'll send you guys the details on it just to be able to share more details on it. But it's an amazing idea that we've been sharing in the lending community about how to help folks not have to take a price reduction is the short of it. So if you've got a listing right now and you want to, I'll show you some numbers and I'll show you some things, but just keep that in mind. The really cool thing about it is it's a way to help buyers make the houses more affordable, because if you have buyers who are fed up with the market, who are fed up and think that they've priced themselves out because the interest rates have gone high, this is another strategy that can help them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll send you the invite, okay? Because it'll take me like 10, it's a lot to explain. I think if I start explaining it now, you guys are gonna, I think I'll lose you. So, so when we're ready, I'll just do a quick Zoom, I think. I'll send you an invitation. We'll do a quick Zoom, like 15 minutes. And if I can have like a good 10, 15 minutes to explain it, because you will have questions, I can explain it all to you that way. Nancy will know when she comes back. I think next week, this is because we're already, I think we have the 20th blocked. Actually, I think the 20th is blocked for it, if I'm not mistaken. Usually Wednesdays are my day that I do this kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm also time blocked. I agree with you. But we'll get you the dates. We'll get you the time. Okay, cool. I'll do a special. What's that? Oh, did I? Oh, okay. Yes, that's a coffee. Thank you. So we can talk about it then too. So that's a thank you, Nikki. So July 21st is our next coffee networking event. It's at Milltown, in Milltown at the coffee bar. And we will certainly talk about it then. Yeah, but I'll also do a Zoom too though, Nikki. So if you don't want to come in person to that, I'll also do a Zoom. But yes, please come have coffee with us. You've come before. So come have coffee with us, bring a friend, and we'll talk about that and other stuff too. Yes, right. This seller is this Friday for those that are not seeing that, like if you still have buyers that are in, because we're in the mixed place, I think, right, from what I'm hearing, where we still have those buyers who are in that multiple bid situation. So we have the seller cash guarantee. If you haven't heard about that yet, on Friday morning, do you know the time? Or Friday afternoon. Okay, Friday afternoon, 1 o'clock, we're gonna do a quick 15-minute Zoom to talk about the seller cash guarantee. So you're welcome to. Oh, okay. Well, that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. We could record. I think we can record it. Okay, too. Yeah, it's been helping, right? So.
And the other thing, so like this is one of the things I've been considering doing a video about, but I just don't know what my liabilities are. So I tell people a lot of times to lock the rates now. Like this morning, new numbers came out and they're talking about another 3/4 of a point increase next week and maybe another point next month. And so how do you feel about that?
About doing a video on what the market's doing?
Well, that plus locking your mortgage rate.
I think the locking your mortgage rate, yes. I think
that's your rate now, and then if you have to extend it, does it cost to extend it? Or
yeah. So we have a 5-star like buyer bulletproof plan, I call it, right, to help make buyers bulletproof. And one of those things is the pre-underwriting. The next is locking their rate for 90 days while they're out house hunting. So they can lock their rate for 90 days so that, and it's only good for 90 days. So they do, what's cool about that though, for you as agents, is if you've got someone who's willing to get pre-underwritten, someone who's willing to lock for 90 days, you know that you should go all in on this client because they are committed and they are ready to go. So it helps you distinguish your serious clients from your non-serious clients. So
they have to close within 90 days, or you're just saying from application?
They have to find a home. They have to identify a property within 90 days.
To have that,
to have that lock.
And then how long would the lock be for closing?
So it depends if the way that we call it lock, shop, and go, right? So the way that the lock, shop, and go works is that they do have to be pre-underwritten and it locks for 90 days. And so if within 90 days, they find a home and the rate is higher than what it was before, they get the cap rate, right? If the rate is lower than it was before, they actually get the lower rate. So it's really a client win. Now, if the rate is lower, we can extend it for up to another 60 days. If the rate is higher, they would pay for an extension for whatever amount of time past the 90 days. So, but 60 days most.
How much is it?
Depends on how long they need to extend it for. If it's, and it depends on the loan size. It's a percentage. So if it's 30 days, it's 0.5% of the loan size. So if it's a $300,000 home, it might be 15